understand that if the organization provides good goods and services to its consumers, the consumers will stick by the company. Improves value of business. If the company has a strong goodwill, the overall ratings of the company increases, which helps it to improve value of business in that particular segment in which the company deals. Strong reputation. If the company's goodwill is strong enough, it will help the company to build a strong reputation in the business. Let's take example of airline services where Indigo is leading the charts. Many of us will choose Indigo over any other airline services because it is well reputed in its sector. Loyal customer base. Though I have covered this earlier, I'll explain this once again. Every company has its own base in the market. A person who trusts Maruti Suzuki, it will be tough for them to shift to another automobile company. Now, the most important question for individuals or companies that arises in front of them is how to save the goodwill of the company in that specific brand that they have launched. The answer to the same is get the brand registered. You might have often seen these two signs, TM and R, which organizations often use with their brands. This means that the organization has taken proactive steps to secure their rights in the said brand. TM means that the application has been filed for securing registration of the said brand, and R means that the organization has secured registration for that particular brand. Thus, the brands become valuable asset of these companies. As per the legal terminology, we call such intangible assets as intellectual properties. As per the Indian law, such intellectual properties are being secured under the following acts: the Trademarks Act 1999, the Designs Act 2000, the Patents Act 1970, the Copyright Act 1957, the Geographical Indication of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999, the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmer Rights Act 2001. Let's move on to the trademark. The question is, what is a trademark? For easy understanding of everyone, trademark means any mark that is being used in trade by the company. As per the definition mentioned under section 2 clause ZP, a trademark means a design, symbol, word or phrase that identifies the source of products or services and distinguishes them from the products or services of other companies. Now the next question that arises is, what is a mark? As you can see, these are few marks. One is a simple word mark, one has a device, one is a composite mark. Thus, as per section 2 clause M, the Trademark Act, a mark includes a device, brand, heading, label, ticket, name, packaging, shape of goods, numeral, letter, word, signature, combination of colors or any such combination which you can see on the screen currently. Let's move to the next slide, which talks about the types of trademarks. The trademarks are categorized under the following heads. Suggestive marks. This includes marks which are merely suggestive of goods or services. Like for example, Jaguar. Used by an automobile company for its cars, Jaguar suggests agility and speed. However, this does not directly relate to a car manufacturing company. The mark has a far-fetched meaning, and thus, bit of imagination on the part of the public is also required to connect the mark and the goods or services. Descriptive marks. Such kind of marks describe some characteristics of goods or services offered by the companies. The descriptive character could be quantity, quality, etc. For example, Holiday Inn, which describes the kind of services that are being offered to the customers. Such marks are only registrable once the same have acquired secondary meaning in the market. This would include companies' mount and manner of advertising the mark, volume of sales, length and manner of the marks used, etc. Fanciful marks. This includes marks which are unique and a coined word or term and which are not generic. For example, Kodak for cameras. Such kind of marks easily proceed to registrations since they are unique. Generic. This includes mark which is common word that identifies the class of goods or services to which it is used or has become common in the course of trade. For example, Xerox for photocopying machines. The next is arbitrary marks. This includes marks which are common to public, however, not common to the goods or services in which it deals. For example, Apple, which is a common term for fruits, but not for mobile phones, smartwatches, etc. Let's have a look at some of the trademarks. Starbucks Coffee, Nike, State Bank of India, Walmart, Mercedes, Coca-Cola, Walt Disney, Kodak. These are the examples of few trademarks that you can see around you in today's world. But then the question arises, does one connect with the companies only after looking at these brands? The answer to this is no. With changing dynamics of the markets, the companies have also become very creative. Looking at these changes, the law is also adapting itself to the said scenario. We talked about conventional brands and trademarks, but there are some marks which are non-conventional. Let's have a look at various categories of non-conventional marks. This includes color marks, three-dimensional marks, sound marks, hologram, position marks, smell or scent marks, taste marks, touch marks, and motion marks. We will be discussing about these in the coming slides. Color mark. As per this non-conventional mark, a company tends to use a single color for its goods. The law secures the right of the brand owner in that specific color for that specific good. For example, the famous red sole case, where the company uses red sole for its footwears. Another example would be Cadbury. You will only see purple color that is being used by the brand for its chocolates. Three-dimensional mark. As per this mark, the rights of the brand owner is secured in the shape that is being used by the brand owner for its goods. For example, the shape of the Coca-Cola bottle that is unique in its segment. Another example would be Toblerone chocolate. Everyone has seen that triangular shape which is being used by the company for its chocolates. Motion marks. Every one of us has seen Microsoft's Windows moving mark. Also, one of the recent examples would be Netflix N mark, which goes in a specific direction. There are other motion marks as well, like these, where the company claims rights over the motion of its brand. Another would be the claim of the company over unique style of opening the car door. Touch marks. As per this mark, the brand owner can claim rights over the texture of the goods. For example, the description of this mark says that it consists of a velvet texture covering on the surface of a bottle of wine. The dotted line in the drawing is not a feature of the mark, but is intended to show the location of the mark on a typical container for the goods. The darker or the lower part of the container drawing shows the mark. The stippling in the drawing is not a feature of the mark, but a representation of how one type of velvet covering may appear in visual form. Another example would be this, and the description of this is that the mark consists of a distinctive man-made texture pattern utilized as a surface feature of applicants' variously configured products. The pattern is displayed in contrasting shades of the same color. The darker shade represented on the elevated portion of the surface and the lighter shade serving as the background. Position marks. As per this mark, the owner tends to secure the rights over positioning of something. Let's look at the example for this. The brand owner who claims rights over the position of the back pocket of the jeans and also the unique stitching at a specific position. The next one is hologram marks, where the companies use a special device as a hologram for its products. which might not be visible at a first look, like for these. Sound mark. According to this non-conventional mark, the brand owner secured their rights over the unique sound that demonstrates the brand and is being played along with the brand. For example, Britannia. I am sure everyone has heard this. The next is MGM Lion. This reminds me of my childhood days. Just like these, there are various sounds that are being specifically used by owners which help them to represent the brand in the market. The remaining two are the most difficult non-conventional marks. Smell marks. Every perfume has a specific smell which is different from other perfumes. Thus, representing the same graphically is a very difficult task. Taste marks. Anyone thought why McDonald's burgers have a unique taste? What do they add which makes it different from other burgers? Thus, a unique taste is also a part of a trademark as far as law is concerned. We'll now move to the benefits of registrations in this slide. It helps in building strong goodwill and reputation among the people. It helps the owner to have the sole rights over the brand which was created after much thought and deliberation. Helps in recognizing quality of the product. I know that anything which is coming from Nestle will be of international standards. Brand owners can stop others from manufacturing counterfeit goods. The chain is simple. You manufacture good products or give good services, one person will recommend to another, and so on. More people will rely on the brands if the same are registered and are being used with our symbol. This will help in making a strong goodwill globally as well. Now let's think upon the point that what if the brand owner does not pay adequate attention to its marks? And what will happen then? Like, what if they don't secure their rights? What if they don't do a market survey? What if they don't take proactive steps by taking legal actions? What will actually happen? Let's see what will happen in this slide. Puma mark with a jaguar. Looks nice. That's actually a creativity of an infringer. Abibos with 4-petal symbols. I am surely suggesting this to my colleagues. Fila looks same. I'm purchasing this because what's in the color? Wait, I think I got fooled. Let me talk to my lawyer and get back to you guys. My lawyer says it was not a Jaguar for sure. The real Adidas has 3 petals instead of 4. The red color is in the first half of the letter F. So this is how the public gets fooled between real and fake, which also affects the companies that are not taking due care of their IPs. This leads to loss of hard-earned goodwill by the company over the years. Misappropriation by the competitors in the market. Last but not the least, wasted of massive investment and resources. One now knows that the brand being intangible assets are protected under the Trademarks Act. But the next question that arises is how that brand owner will protect its intellectual property. The brand owners have two kinds of rights in the common law. The common law rights come in the picture when the brand is not registered, but it has attained immense goodwill in the market and is being used continuously. The next is rights under the statutory law, that is infringement action. One can initiate infringement action against the individual of the company which is selling counterfeit or fake goods, but for that it is necessary to get the brand registered. Looking at the changing dynamics, the organizations have slowly and steadily understood that how important their brand is. Therefore, they have become proactive in securing their rights. There are various strategic and operational measures that the companies are taking internally as well as externally. Let's look at those steps. Internal measures. This covers the internal steps that companies take to safeguard their rights. They confirm that they have created the brand and thus own the brand. They timely get the brand registered. In order to maintain the said registration, they pay the renewal fees. Finally, they take steps like securing confidential information, for example, trade secrets. External measures. This covers activities, steps that are taken keeping in view the scenario of the market, like IP acquisition, merger, licensing, etc. This also includes action like conducting due diligence of third parties who are dealing in the same sector, taking legal action against the said infringer. Let's move to the final slide for the day, which is the conclusion. I have tried to sum up my PPT in this one slide. As they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Likewise, the journey of building a big brand begins with a small idea. Every hour is a kind of an investment that will help one to grow. Thus, the entrepreneurs invested time and money in the brand. But the hard work goes in vain when one copies that idea. Let's promise IP Nani that we'll take proactive steps to secure their trademarks. That is all from my side. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have few questions as well. Hello, sir.
Yeah, sure, Simaji.
Yeah. So, sir, one of the questions from Mr. Ajit is that how are marks used by organizations such as Nestle different from collective marks?
So basically, these are the single marks that are being used by the companies. Collective marks is a kind of a mark that the company is using for a single mark. There are different marks. So for example, if I am using Netflix in different manner, that will be a collective mark.
Okay. So another question which we have received from Facebook Live is that what will be the scope of protection between the copyright of a logo and the trademark registration of a logo?
See, there are two perspectives.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Simajit, can you hear me?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, so there are two perspectives that are covered, which are very separate with the trademarks and the copyrights. With respect to the trademarks, trademarks is something which is a goodwill of the companies attached with. So, for example, Nestle, the company has a goodwill in that particular mark, whereas the copyrights, if you draw something, you don't have a goodwill on that particular thing. But when compared with the trademarks, Nestle has whole the business of that particular segment in that particular mark.
Okay. We have received few more questions. That is the process of registration online or offline, and to what extent it is online?
So the process currently is online and offline both. You can file an application online as well as offline. With respect to the online procedure, when you file an application, there's an objection that is being raised. If that is raised by the registrar, then you can file a response to the same online as well. Apart from that, you can see the opposition which is being filed online. The only part that is litigation part which goes offline, as well as the opposition proceedings that go offline.
Okay. Another question from Ms. Kajal Chand, that what is the hierarchy of court to be approached for infringement of trademarks?
So the hierarchy of courts start through IPAB, then High Court, and then Supreme Court.
Okay. There's another question from Mr. Ajit, that as you mentioned about the bottle of Coca-Cola, will it have dual protection under the trademark as well as designs?
See, Ajit, it's a very good question. There's a very thin line difference between a protection under the designs for the three-dimensional mark as well as under the trademark. So the design law protects the three-dimensional mark only in case when the mark is not in a public domain. So think, for example, if there's a bottle that I have manufactured, but that is not in a public domain, I can secure the same through a through designs law. But then Once the mark is in the public domain, we can only secure that marks, that particular three-dimensional mark under the trademarks. Then we lose out the rights under the Designs Act.
All right. All right. Okay, sir. How can we use a touch mark and how does it work?
So touch mark is basically a texture of some commodity or any product. So for example, if you see, everyone has seen that old monk bottle, right? So there's a specific texture that is being attached or being given to that particular bottle. Though it's a very difficult in the current scenario and Indian registries are not accepting the same currently. So commenting that much on that particular would not be a valid point currently.
All right. So there's one question from Mr. Sanjay Shah that what are the penalties for infringement of trademark and how long is it valid?
So you can initiate an infringement action. The penalties vary as per the case to case basis.
Okay. And do Indian laws save the rights of trademarks registered in the foreign countries?
Yeah, they do secure. But the only thing that we need to understand is that India is the first use country. So in case there's a mark which is being used in India prior to any international mark, the protection will be granted to that particular mark in India rather than the international thing. But yeah, trans-border reputation also plays a very important role in this.
Okay. So there's one very interesting question from Mr. Hitesh that how are different biscuit companies are manufacturing the biscuit bourbon? Like Parle is also manufacturing and Britannia is also manufacturing.
So this might be a management call, but whereas the concept is concerned, they cannot be same names, but yeah, the concept can be similar.
Okay. And does trademark expire due to non-use for X number of years? Like, is there something like that?
Yeah. So this is also an interesting question with respect to the Trademarks Act. So in case if you have registered a trademark, but you're not using that particular trademark, the validity of that trademark lapses after 5 years, 3 months period. So any person can initiate a legal action against that non-use.
Okay. So there's another question as well from Facebook that if a new business has been set up with less funds due to which they cannot register a trademark as of yet, what should be their strategy to protect their brand? Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes, Amajit. Sorry, there's a bad network this side.
No, no issue, sir. Should I repeat the
Yes,
question?
Amajit. Continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if a new business has been set up with less funds due to which they cannot register a trademark as of yet, what should be the strategy to protect their brand?
So even if your mark is, you cannot have a registration that particular moment, you still have the passing of rights. Anyone who is using your mark, you can initiate a passing of action against that. That is a common law right, which is being given to the people. There are big MNCs as well who haven't secured their registration on a particular mark, but still have secured rights in that particular mark by initiating action against under common law.
All right. We have received a good number of questions again. Okay, I'll just ask one by one. So as we can see, Coca-Cola uses the shape of its bottle as a trademark, but it is not prohibited to use such marks which directly shows the shape of the product. What are your views on that?
The shape of the product. So basically, there's a very thin line difference in that. Shape of a product that is derived from the goods itself is banned under the law, under the Trademarks Act. But when you see the shape of the Coca-Cola bottle, it's a unique shape. That is why the registration is being granted to that particular shape.
Okay. Sir, if a global company is registered elsewhere and does business in India and there is a local company registered its trademark in India and have the same product with similar mark, will it lead to the infringement of either of them?
So the same thing I'll be repeating is, since India is the first use country, we need to look in the matter that whether the Indian company that is using that particular mark is using the same prior to that international mark. Then the international company which is using the mark internationally will don't have much rights in that particular case. Only in case when the Indian company is using much prior to the mark which is being used internationally.
All right. Okay. So there's one more question from Mr. Ajit that does taste marks include secret recipes too, like the special sauce used by Burger King or the cola recipe?
So there's also a thin line difference between the taste marks as well as the trade secrets. So the trade secrets is basically a specific product or a quantity of good that is being used for that particular good or in that particular product. But then when it comes to a taste mark, there's a specific taste that comes. There's still a war which is being going on. The people are still looking into the fact like where there'll be a distinction between the taste marks as well as the trade secrets. So people are working on that.
Okay. Sir, if we update a trademark, do we lose the right over our previous trademark immediately, or there is some time period?
Simajit, can you repeat? There was some connection error.
Yeah. So I'm saying that if we update our trademark, do we lose the right over our previous trademark immediately, or there is some time period there?
See various marks. Hello, Simajit, can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So if you make any slight modification that particular trademark, then also you need to file a fresh application for that trademark. You have the rights for the old trademark as well as you will secure the rights over the new trademark that the one has been using for the brands or the upcoming brands.
Okay,
You
sir.
don't lose out the rights over the earlier mark that has been registered.
Okay. So there's another question from Miss Kajal Chand that can we register a slogan under the trademark?
Yes, you can register a slogan under a particular trademark, but then it's very difficult to get these registered in recent times because registries are not accepting the same.
Okay, so sir, does the slogan like in that we have also to look into the font and color of the slogan, or is it that just we have to register our text? Like how does it work?
So I'll cover this thing as well. So basically, if you have a word mark, that will give you broader protection. So this applies same to the slogan as well. In case if you have a word mark registration for that particular slogan, then you can secure rights over all the fonts of that particular mark.
All right, all right. So there's another question from Mr. Sanjay Shah that is trademark validation or renewal required, and if yes, after how many years?
See, the trademark guarantees you for protection of 10 years, and the same can be renewed after that. And once the same is been renewed, then you cannot re-renew that particular trademark. You have the registration of that particular mark, but the trademark law only gives you protection for like 10 years and plus the renewal.
All right. So if a particular this in continuance to that question, if a particular mark is used to say for 10 years without registration due to neglect, can another company take advantage and register the same as its product?
No, you cannot because once the same is filed, then this will lead to the opposition proceedings because the person who hasn't registered his mark still has a chance to oppose that particular mark, the similar mark which is being used by any other person. So you can oppose that particular mark when it comes to the opposition stage when the same is advertised.
Okay. So is the registration fees fixed for a trademark, or is it or is it differs from product to product?
No, the fees for the trademark is fixed, but then the person who is manufacturing or the person who is giving that particular trademark is different. So, for example, if an individual is getting a trademark registered, the fees for that will be different. A smaller startup is using a trademark will be different. A person or any MNC which is using a trademark, the fees for that same will be different. So it's basically the person who is filing the trademark. The fees differs from that.
Okay. Sir, if the company does not possesses an international trademark separately, but has been registered, say in England, and uses in India, will it still lead to infringement of local company trademark?
So see, there's a point that we need to understand that international registration don't give us the right to protect the same in India. We need to secure rights in India as well. So seeking registration in India is very important to secure your rights.
Okay. Uh, Sir, can companies like Amul use their Amul girl, which is the picture of a girl which they uses as their trademark?
Yes, they can obviously use that particular thing because that Amul is connected, that particular girl is connected with the Amul since starting. So yes, the
Mm.
brand can rely on that particular thing. And I am not sure, but yeah, I've seen that registration as well.
Okay, that is also registered. Okay. If a product is a moisturizing cream, which can also be used for allergy removal, is manufactured, the trademark for such shall be registered under which schedule?
So there are trademark classes that you can register under. So for example, you can file a single class application. Let's take an example, the companies like Nivea. Nivea is currently manufacturing moisturizer creams, but then suddenly they think of, since the COVID time, they think of entering a business which includes hand sanitizers. So they can file a separate application for that, or they can file a multi-class application in the beginning itself. That we need to deal in these particular goods. That we follow the niche classification for that.
Okay. Uh, we'll wait for few more questions. Yeah, we have received one more. So, is a trademark for a particular product category, then can this trademark use for another totally different product category? For example, Coca-Cola for soft cola drinks, and then someone uses for say a coca powder.
See, there are companies that are doing this. So, for example, I take the example of Nestle itself. When you see the term Nest, these are the home marks, or we call them the house marks of that particular company. So, anything which is coming through Nest in that particular segment, the Nestle will find an opposition against that in that particular category. But the important point is, for example, if Nestle is only into the manufacturing of goods like Maggie, Kit Kat, but if any other person is using the same term Nest for a hand sanitizer, Nestle cannot file an infringement action or opposition action against that particular company.
All right. Okay, sir. Uh, so the continuance of the moisturizing cream question, there's one more question that for this moisturizing cream, will it fall under cosmetics or medicines and drugs?
This will fall under cosmetics. So there are different classes, niche classification that we access in order to suggest that under what all categories. So we need to look into the limit that the company is using. With respect to the Nivea, these will fall under the cosmetic products.
All right, but the same moisturizing cream is used as an anti-allergic cream as well. So won't it fall under medicine and drug?
Then it will shift to a medical. So that is what we need to be very clear that what all services or what all categories we are reaching out with that particular moisturizing cream. There can be 2 to 3 uses of that particular cream. Then only we suggest. So that is what I told. So for example, if you are using Nivea for only moisturizing, then it will be filed under moisturizing cream. But in case we are using Nivea moisturizers for a medical purpose as well, so we'll file Nivea moisturizers under that class as well.
Okay. Sir, can
So
the
we need to
generic?
see the use of that particular product.
Okay, okay. I hope Meghna is also satisfied with that answer. Sir, can the generic words be used as trademark like head and shoulders?
Yes, they can be used. They are the most difficult trademarks, I would say, because it's very difficult to get them registered. Though they are generic, they are registrable in Indian registry, but then we need to show immense goodwill that is being attached with that particular company. For example, head and shoulders, it's a very common term. But then head and shoulders has immense use that you can file the same and you can show the registrar and the courts that, sir, we have acquired secondary meaning by the use. It's not an arbitrary mark, but then we have acquired every company that you see, every person that when you say a head and shoulder to connect to the company itself. So that is what it takes. You need to prove that you acquired secondary meaning.
Okay. So one last question from my side, sir. Sir, as we have seen that the app Bharat which has been launched in this COVID time. So, sir, will that word Bharat will get a trademark in what class? Because a Bharat is also referred to a country. So, how will it achieve its trademark registration?
So there's an objection that will surely come because as per the Indian trademark registries, we have a section 9 objection which is on absolute grounds. Anything which is related to the National Emblems Act will be prohibited by that particular, will not be protected under that particular registry. So for example, if you go and register a national symbol, that chakra, or you go and register the Indian national flag, that will not be registrable. So you cannot secure rights over the term Bharat.
Okay.
You cannot have monopoly over that particular word. The whole concept of trademark is to have the monopoly over that particular mark so that other person cannot use. You cannot secure rights over the country's name.
Okay. So we have received few more questions. So if you do not mind, yeah, okay. Sir, Amul can change, modify that Amul girl after years if it wishes to do so or not, and will it has to pay again any registration fees for that?
Yes, they have to. As I've covered this earlier as well, I've like already informed this, but I'll still cover this. Any slight change will also will lead to filing a new application for that. That is why. So, for example, if we write Nestle in a word, we have a registration of the term Nestle. We can write it any form. We still have registered. We have secured registration of that term word mark Nestle. But then if we have a specific registration over the design over that, any slight modification on that particular mark will lead to a new trademark application.
Okay, understood, sir. So please explain on infringement of trademark. Question.
So infringement of a trademark, as you already saw the presentation, the Puma with the Jaguar sign and the real Puma, and then the Fila. You also see fake products as well in the market, like Apple products with the fake products. So the companies are taking steps in order to save their rights. Only the marks which are registered, please understand, only the marks which are registered can initiate an infringement action. Hello, Simaji?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
sir. I could hear.
Yeah. So only a mark which is registered can initiate infringement action. If you think that you are not registered and you wish to file an infringement action, you cannot do that particular thing. So that is why you have common law rights as well as infringement rights.
Oh. Sir, if a company has been registered under Head and Shoulders, can another be registered as Shoulder and Head?
No, that will not, because the point is, since the companies are, this is where phonetical similarity comes in the picture. If you see Head and Shoulder and Shoulder and Head with the same trademark and with the same class, then this will lead to infringement action.
Okay. So, last questions only we'll take now, and we won't take any further. So, trademark, is it only for products or many other categories beside product only? So, I think
See, the concept is, as I've told earlier, the concept is to have a goodwill. It's not only the product, even a startup. For example, let's take an example of your organization itself. So you can have it registered. There's no, it's not only, so the point is the brand needs to be registered, not the product. The brand needs to have secure registration that any organization which is running, any services which are being given needs to be registered. It's not product specific.
okay. Last question for today, sir. Can trademark infringement also have compensation for loss of goods, will and loss due to misguidance?
Yes, they are covered. So basically, in case there's an infringement action, the courts look into the picture that how much the same has affected the use of the counterfeit good, how much the other person has also earned from that counterfeit good. So everything is taken into picture before granting an infringement.
Okay. We have received one more. If you only agree, sir. Otherwise,
Yeah, no issues.
yeah.
You can.
There's one question from Miss Meghna. That can you explain the balance of convenience in infringement?
So the balance of convenience comes in the picture when you see that there are two marks which are being used simultaneously in the same class. But then the question arises, how much loss has been occurred in that particular use of the counterfeit good? So this depends on the case to case basis as well.
Okay. So I think we won't be, there are no more questions only. Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful session and answering so many questions and clearing every single doubt. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing some time for us. I hope we could host you as well in future as well. Thank you so much, sir, for such an.
Sure, Simajit. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you so much, our audience. We will be sharing this PPT also on our website soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Also, Simajit, you can
Yeah.
do this one thing. You can share the details as well, so that in case there are any other objections or the questions that may arise, they can connect directly itself.
Yeah, sure. We'll be sharing the details of sir on our website directly, so you can connect with sir there as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Simajit. Thank you, everyone.